Hey everybody, this is Chris with StoneRow Games. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to go through a tutorial on our Grinding Gears edition. We've got two new cards to show you, and we got plenty of rules to go over. We have a four-person game already in progress, and should be interesting. So let's get at it. So player one is the closest player to us on the bottom there. We are going to see what they're going to do with these cards. So player one is going to decide to pull from the top of the deck, and they are going to pull a Night Rock Apprentice, which is very good for them because they already have two other apprentices, and in our game, 3 of a kind is worth 30 points. So they are going to build 3 of a kind and have 30 points, and that's going to put them in the lead right now. So we're going to go over to the next player, which is player 2, and see what they pull out of the deck. Looks like they're going to pull an Everquartz 1, which isn't of much use to them. They don't have any other ones or ways that they can play that, so it's going to go into their hand. But they do have a Earthstone Apprentice. Now, in the Grinding Gears edition, there's a new rule with the Mason card that allows for what we call cross-mortaring. So you basically can take a card that fits into a existing stone row of the person to your left or your right. In this case, it would be player 1, who already has 3 of a kind, and they're all apprentices. And you can basically connect your card to theirs. So player 2 is going to cross-mortar that Earthstone Apprentice to the other Earthstones in player 1's hand. And, much to player 2's excitement, this actually stacks points. So player 2 will now have 40 points, and player 1 will get to keep their 30 points. And at this point in the game, once you cross-mortar, those points are connected. So what happens to one player happens to the other. So player 3 has been watching all this and thinking, hey, look at all those points on the board. How can I ruin that? So looking at player 3's hand, we notice that they actually do have a hammer because the keystone is an 8. So they have an Everquartz 8 in their hand, which I'm suspecting they're going to use. They still get to pull from the top card or from the discard pile. They decide to pull from the top of the deck, and that is an Earthstone Architect. So they're going to go ahead with their turn and play that Everquartz 8, or try to. So player 3 tries to play a hammer on the 3 of a kind for player 1. But they wouldn't normally know that they have a Displacer in their hand. A Displacer is one of our new cards that has 2 functions. Think of it like a magnet. So if anyone on the table plays a hammer openly, the person with the Displacer can play it and capture the hammer. In this case, player 1 actually is defending their own points, so they can play it as soon as player 3 plays that hammer. So what's going to happen now is player 3 tried to break the points. Player 1 plays the Displacer to block that, and they get to capture that hammer. So that hammer, that 8, will now go into player 1's hands, and no points will be broken. So once the Displacer is played, it's a one-time use card in that scenario. It gets put by the keystone to show it has been played. Now the second method of playing a Displacer is to, at some point during your turn, use that card, place it in front of your hand, and it will block all hammer attempts for the entire game. So if you put it out in front of your cards, everybody knows that they can't play hammer on your cards. They can still be stolen, but they cannot be broken. So player 3 is upset. They didn't get to do what they wanted to, and they don't have any points. So we're moving on to player 4. Player 4 is going to pull from the top of the deck, and they receive a Earthstone Guildmaster. They could build a pair with Guildmasters, but I think they're going to do something different. I see a special card in their hand. So player 4 is actually going to use the Gold Digger. The Gold Digger is a new card in our Grinding Gears pack, and it also has 2 functionalities. The first functionality is to pull 3 cards from the top of the deck. So you get the first 3 cards, and they go right in your hand. you can then, after you pull the cards, you can complete your play. So if you have points, you want to play points or discard, you can do that. The second usage of the Gold Digger is to pull 3 cards of your choice from the discard pile. This is particularly effective later in the game when there's a lot of cards in the discard pile, and maybe you've been paying attention and you see cards that you want that could complete StoneRows for yourself. So in this case, I'm guessing they're going to use the Gold Digger to pull 3 cards from the top of the deck. So let's see what those cards are. The first card is going to be a Evercord Surveyor. The second is going to be a Blood and Moon 5. And the third card will be a Night Rock 7. So this works out particularly well for player 4, who has the start of a 3 of a kind in the Evercords Guild. So they're going to plug that Surveyor into line with the Guildmaster and the Architect, and they'll now have 3 of a kind. The other cards go in their hand, and they can use those later in the game. The Gold Digger is a one-time use card, so once you play him, much like the Displacer, he'll go next to the Keystone to show that he has been played. So that really wraps up our mini round here, our mini game to show the functionality in our new cards. So at the end of this round, player 4, 30 points. Player 3 got thwarted, so they got 0 points. Player 2 has 40 points, and player 1 has 30 points. So thank you so much for watching. We hope that you will pick up a copy of Grinding Gears. I really believe the game's getting better and better, so I hope you think that too. If you have questions, we're very active on Facebook and social media, so reach out to us. We'd be glad to get back to you, and look forward to getting you the next update, which will be hopefully single player and team play. Have a good day, happy holidays, and see everybody later.